you give us just that snapshot to the audience of who Coolon is?
So Coolon is a lighting company. So we started off in lighting. Actually, we started off in electronics and then we moved to lighting. And so we're predominantly a lighting product. But what we're doing now is we moved into something that's like lighting adjacent. So it's building a digital mesh network through the lighting.
When you say a digital mesh network, but I actually haven't heard that term.
Okay, so it's smart lighting, really. So traditionally, smart lighting would be just where the fixtures would talk to each other. So you could do simple things like dimming and controls. But as you take that one step forward, there's another thing you can do. So once you've got your light fixtures communicating with each other, you could then open up that digital mesh network, which becomes the digital backbone across the system. And then you can introduce other people's sensors so they can communicate through the light system. It's kind of like an app store for other people's product.
Oh, so it's not just it's not just your lighting system that can be controlled?
Okay, so let's look at it in a simple way. So, you take a light fixture. So we looked at an area and said, hey, so in the processing plants where there's lots of machinery, lots of concrete, lots of steel, lots of EMI. It's been traditionally a hard place to put in a network of sensors without hard wiring them. And wiring in processing areas is always very hard to do and very expensive. Okay, so we looked at that and said, hey, so where there's lighting or where there's electricity, there's lighting. And if you put in one of our lights, we put a smart node into our light. Okay, so now that smart node, they call it auto-magically connects with the next light fixture. So now these light fixtures are all connected and communicating together.
I see. Okay, so because it's so fast, the tech is so fast, you could have, if you've got 10 lined up here, that 10th one might be connected to this other one that's over here, but
so it connects on a Wi-Fi type system. So you plug in a light fixture like you normally would.
Yeah.
So you just connect a standard light fixture. It looks like a light fixture. So to the person who's installing it, it's just a standard light fixture.
Yeah.
But built into that light fixture is a node, and that smart node then communicates with the next light fixture. So now they communicate together and they form a mesh throughout the space.
Yeah.
And so now they're all communicating together. Okay. So what happens is they don't need to be commissioned. They just, as you plug them in, they commission, they form this smart mesh network. Okay. Which becomes the digital backbone for everything else.
Right. What is that? But I think we should clarify. We're not talking about a shop. We're talking about a mining, like in a full operation, right?
Yeah.
Full scale.
Yeah. So in an area where there's multiple levels, lots of steel, lots of concrete, lots of machinery, it would be really hard to put in a traditional system. And so in those areas where there's light, now there's going to be a smart node if you put in a Coolon light fixture.
Can you kind of set up a real world app? Like, what would this look like in a mine? Like examples?
Yeah. So we have a product called the Blinky. Okay. So the Blinky is a warning system, a visual warning system for the mine.
Okay.
And so let's assume that you've got lightning coming. Okay. And so you put their lights in and they're white normally. And if there was lightning coming, if it was, say, 20 miles away, you could change the color of the light to being red. Okay, so the Blinky would turn, red or yellow or amber, depending on how you set up the system. Okay, so you could then, and so that light would change, but then it would also communicate to all the other lights. So all the other lights would also change. So they could have a ring color system built into them that would also change. So if you're in a processing area where it's very noisy,
right.
You can't see the visual warning system because maybe traditionally they're on boxes, maybe they're put outside, they're hidden away. If you had our Blinky system in, the light outside would change. It would communicate to all the other lights and all the other lights would change. So now you have a visual warning system to go along with maybe your audible warning system.
Right. Now, when you say it, could it, let's say on a full mine, if there is an area, let's say there's something over here they need a warning for, does it automatically connect, or can you sort of control if one area should be, the alert should come on?
Yeah, so you could control it into scenes. So you could have only one side of the mine change,
Right.
you know, so you could have it set up and, you know, so you set it up how you want to have which area, you know, change as you want. So you could say it was lighting, for instance, you would want all the tall areas to be able to change, but you wouldn't necessarily need to transfer that to the underground area.
Right, exactly. Yeah.